Hi guys, hello and welcome to the House of Crypto. Today I want to show you the Ethereum chart because it looks like we're about to see quite an exciting time where we could see a big move. Hopefully to the upside, looking quite bullish at the moment, but potentially to the downside. So I just want you to be aware of what's happening so that you can make some informed decisions. Obviously, just a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. You know, all of this should be taking your own research in order to stay up to date with what's happening. Okay, cool. So let's take a look. What I see happening at the moment is a bullish pennant. So in the last few weeks, we've seen a big upside move in both Bitcoin and in Ethereum. But in Ethereum, what we've seen is this huge upside swing here, and then we've seen it get quite hard rejection back down, and then a bit of a consolidation. So actually, this looks like we might be forming a pattern. So what's always good to do is go away, get your notebook out, and look at some patterns that we've been seeing, and then see how they can kind of play into the charts. We should know, that in the past, Bitcoin has been showing quite big upside moves, consolidating into these patterns and breaking out over time, which actually made it quite easy to read what's been happening. So what I see happening here is this big move here, taking the upside and putting in these higher highs, and which is making, if we jump over to this diagram, we can see it looks very much like a bullish pennant. Okay, so what happens in a bullish pennant? Often after a big break to the upside, we see a bit of a consolidation, which we've seen here, and then another push to the upside and quite a swift rejection. Okay, so what it is, obviously it's hit quite a tough bit of resistance, and then it's going to get pushed down to retest in a higher high than we've seen previously. So we've got this the first part here, and then a higher high put in here, another retest of the upside, which can be lower is okay, and then retesting yet again a higher high. It's key that we're retesting higher highs all the time. Okay, and then as we can see, consolidates, and once it's run out of room in this triangle position, it's going to push again to the upside. So how do we know how far it's going to push into the upside? We look here at the previous move, which is taken from the bottom of the wick of the candle that's pushed all the way upwards, and then at the bottom of the triangle pattern. And then we take this, we move it to the upside where the breakout of the apex, and then we get our upside to give us a target to aim for. Okay, so if we jump back, let's have a look at how this pattern draws out for us. So we've got our lower low here, and then we can draw it all the way up here. This is on the 4-hour chart, and we see, does it put in higher highs? Well, yes, it does. So that's our first big tick, and then we're going to take from the previous point of rejection. Right, so previous point of rejection up here, and then we see it's touched 1, 2, 3 times, giving us a good solid trend line here. So what we can see is very much like here, we've come up, we've touched, we've bounced along, and we've come back down. Here actually happened much quicker than that. We came up, we got rejected pretty hard and fast. It's dropped all the way back down to here. What was that? That was a good sizable rejection of 32%. Okay, so 32%, which was what many people were predicting would happen to Bitcoin, and that would enable it to then carry on to a future all-time high. Okay, so potentially a very exciting position we're sat in right now, as we see the movement consolidating towards the end of this triangle. So what we then saw is what we want to see now is it to retest and break this upside, or this upper trend line here. What we would then be the perfect scenario is that we would come back and probably retest this trend line before moving on to the upside. Okay, that's the perfect scenario, and that's what I'll be looking for. Obviously this can break to the downside, and then we'll be looking for a similar thing where it'll break, it'll bounce, and then move to the downside. Okay, either way, we want to wait for these confirmations before we enter the market. Okay, it's all very well looking at it now, thinking that this is what's going to happen, but we want to give ourselves the best chance of making a successful trade. So we need to wait for this to come back down, be patient, and then we can enter at the perfect moment. Okay, that then minimizes our risk and gives us the best opportunities to make a solid trade. So what would we look for then in terms of our upside targets? Maybe where to put a stop, etc. So let's take a look at that now. So remember before we come back to the bullish pennant, we use the length or the distance of the uptrend to work out how high we're going to go. Okay, so that would be then, so if we take it from approximately here, we can take this line, approximately here I would say would be the start of the trend. We could probably come from down here, but there's no necessary drama. Okay, so let's come up, and remember it comes to the bottom of that original triangle. Okay, so draw a line there, and we can take this line and we move it up to where we anticipate our breakup to come from. That will then give us a target. For some reason there's a little black mark, can't see it. 1,400 and approximately 1,410. I recommend measuring that yourself. And obviously it depends on exactly where the breakout comes. If the breakout comes up here, then it's going to be slightly higher. And obviously if it comes down a bit here, then we're going to be a bit lower. Okay. So where would we put our stops? Well, we can put our stop. Obviously we're going to wait for our retest. We would then look to put our stop somewhere below. Either we can be a bit more risky and look below here, or we can look below the trend line if we're really looking for cutting down or limiting our loss as much as possible. Okay. Sometimes it can play back in, slightly in, and obviously that will close down our trade if we're leaving a little bit too little space. Anyway, I hope this has been useful. Obviously go away and do your own research. I want you to like and subscribe to this video. It really helps my my YouTube algorithm and my YouTube channel get up and running. Obviously I'll leave a link below where you can follow me over on Twitter, where I'll be updating you, and I want you to pay attention to the markets, stay safe, remember never trade with more than you can afford to lose, and have a good time. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.